get over 40 phone calls about who's this boy.
Iliman Ndiaye!
He's shown that, no matter what level you're at, you've got the ability and the mentality you can get through to where you want to be.
Right man, right place, right time!
2 years after playing for Ireland, he's playing in the World Cup.
The Senegalese star boy! What a wonderful season that young man has had!
When he first came up, obviously saw the ability straight away.
He earned his respect by playing football, definitely.
There was lots of obstacles he faced, but they said it was never a problem for him.
Things he can do with a football is scary. There's only really few players in the world who can do that.
He just enjoys playing football, whether it's in Step 7 or at the World Cup, he just loves it.
Only the sky is the limit for him.
He's from a part French, part Senegalese family.
When you've started your story in a suburb in France where, you're born to an immigrant father.
Growing up, he used to, he was inspired by his dad. He'd be out training.
Dribbling is the main thing that I was training really with my dad. Obviously, he used to put mannequins everywhere, or even sometimes he used to try and dribble past him.
I think he has 9 sisters, and his dad used to give him a ball and he would just dribble away from his sisters and they would all try and tackle him at once. So I think that's kind of now how it is on the pitch sometimes as well.
Did he ever get the ball off you?
No.
That's how he plays. We have 6 or 7 lads trying to get the ball off him in training every day as well, so that's still going on.
I used to get home from school, instead of doing my homeworks, I'll go and look at videos from players like Ronaldinho, even Pelé, Zidane, Messi, Ronaldo, Maradona. Yeah, I watched everyone.
Then moved to Senegal when he was about 13.
Playing for Sacré-Cœur, quite a well-renowned football club in Dakar.
When you're a kid coming from France, locals may think that you will be a bit fancy. When he went to the training, he took the buses as the local. He was always hanging out with the locals. He wasn't trying to stay on his own because he came from France. His family was in a neighborhood called Camberen, which is next to the sea. I'm pretty sure he was playing a lot of beach soccer.
It was more physical. It was hot there, so it was harder. They run a lot there.
It's hot almost every month.
And I think you develop a slightly different outlook on the game, a slightly different way of playing the game, one that is a little bit more liberated.
You have the technique you had, but you have to be physical when you play on the beach. There is no referee. You can't be shy.
It toughened me a bit. I was playing against people that were really strong and things like that.
He earned his respect by playing football, definitely.
When he moved with England to his family, that the story becomes fascinating.
And once again, you're starting something new. You're going into a new place where you don't know anybody.
I had a teacher that used to take me out of my maths lessons or English lessons to teach me English.
Ended up joining Boreham Wood and entering onto a college programme, a part football, part learning programme.
When he was at Boreham Wood, I don't think he was worrying about being at Boreham Wood, if you like. He knew that he was going to go somewhere else.
He was 16 years old, he was very slight, there wasn't much of him. We played Chester in the semi-final of the National Cup and everyone knew about Iliman at that time and they did a real good job on him and they tried frustrating him and they kicked him. We got beat 4-1, which again was a disappointing defeat. He decided that he wanted to take on every single person in and around Chester, anyone in sight. He tried taking on, so he wasn't the best loser.
It's 1918. It's 1918. We're still 1918.
If it's in training or things like that, I always want to win, everything I do.
I'm losing to this cheaters.
He's hugely confident on the pitch because of his ability. And off the pitch, he's humble, he's a really good guy to be around.
What is really important to him is his family and his faith. And I think that makes for a very, very grounded individual.
I think he was shy. He was a very deep thinker. So I think every question you asked him, you get a real thoughtful answer.
He's made enough sacrifices, his family's made enough sacrifices. Before getting to Sheffield United, there's been so much hard work getting to that point.
Obviously, they had to fulfil their education, so Monday to Friday they were in every day, which is a huge financial implication to families. It's not easy. Getting on them 2 buses is not easy to get there, and then getting on the train. And there was lots of obstacles he faced, but they said it was never a problem for him. Some boys wouldn't come in because they go, I can't make it in today, he'd always be in, he'd always be the first there, he'd always be the last there. He had that attitude.
When he was travelling from Tottenham to Boreham Wood for the training ground, he always used to have to try and avoid the inspector because, you know, they're not made of money, they're not a really rich family. I think it was one time the physio had found him and it was, what are you doing? Where are you? Why are you not on the train? Why are you not at training? I've got to wait, I've been sat here an hour, but hopefully the conductor's going to leave soon and I can get on the train and I'll be able to get into training for free.
Just all the sacrifices you do to get to the top.
Sorry, was at Rising Ballers, an academy down in London.
They really honed in on that sort of technical skills and it really suited him.
Since I was young, I played a lot of cage football, five-a-side, because obviously there's not too much running to do, so you just always like on the ball and all that, and you just want to do skill, be the man shooting. I was just playing at Boreham Wood and my agent got me a trial here at Sheffield United.
He played a 23s game for them. Next thing you know, we get over 40 phone calls about who's this boy. Sheffield United straight away said, we want to take him, we want to sign him, ahead of all the other clubs. And he said to me, I remember at the time, that that's where I've been, that's where I've trialled first. They've showed faith in me, the fact that they wanted me, so he's a loyal boy. For him, the rest is history, really.
Made a lot of sacrifice, and one of them were moving up to Sheffield on his own.
Obviously, I moved into digs. You know, I was living with two other players.
Forget football, that's not normal in life. That's not normal in the age that we live in. It's not normal.
Not miles and miles to London, but it's far enough that you can feel isolated. And so I like to think that we would have been welcoming.
Sometimes you have the time to go see your family, sometimes you don't. But obviously, my head has always been on the football pitch, in training, and just obviously try and make it.
I was assistant manager at Hyde United in the Northern Premier League, and we signed Iliman Ndiaye on loan from Sheffield United back in 2020.
I think that was a great grounding for him, because I think everyone thinks they get that move and I'm going to play, I'm going to be a superstar.
It was my first time going out on loan. Another sacrifice I had to make, obviously travelling from here to all the way to Hyde in the train and getting back late at night.
We used to have to shout him to get him off the training pitch because the last train from the train station at Stockport was going across Sheffield, so yeah, we used to have to drag him off the pitch.
Guys at non-league level, they have to be so battle-hardened, so focused, because literally these aren't multi-millionaires. Every single point counts, every win bonus counts.
You know, there's a lot of good players down there sometimes that, you know, should be playing at a higher level.
I remember the first game, and one of our directors was saying, oh, we've signed another young lad. I was like, well, yeah, we have, but come back and see me at 5 o'clock and tell me what you think.
Debut, really enjoyed the atmosphere, the teammates, the coaches, like the match. It was a good game.
Played against Grantham, 20 minutes in. Their experienced left-back who played a lot of games in the Football League. I won't mention his name on here, but yeah, he came up to me on a corner and was like, where's that guy from?
Can't imagine turning up on a Saturday as a part-timer and thinking, my word, how are we going to handle this lad?
His ability at that age is definitely, I could see him play in the Premier League.
The people, again, at Hyde speak about Iliman in hugely glowing terms.
Very thankful for us taking him on loan and looking after him really well, which was brilliant. You don't always get that.
And I think that will have just, as I say, battle-hardened him, schooled him for what was to come when he made what I think was always going to be the inevitable step up into senior professional football.
That first training session that I had, I think, with the first team, I did very good. And the manager was like, oh, what do you think? Was you first best or second best? And I said I was first best, you know.
I knew it was good enough, and it was a case of giving him a taste of it and, yeah, showing him that people believed in him.
He hung on to the ball a lot more than a lot of the other players. You could see that he had some talent.
Especially in the small-sided games, you know, he'd really come into his own, and kind of if you had him on his team, he would win.
Breakthrough season was last season. Scored on his first start, and then got a lot of exposure, a lot of minutes around the first team.
Fulham away last season, and he scored one of the best individual goals I've ever seen, where he picks the ball up inside our own half, beats a man, beats another man, and then puts in a lovely finish.
I said to him, what was going through your mind when I scored that? And he, well, I could see the goal, but you know, I just thought, let's enjoy myself.
But this year he's just taken it to another level, and Sheffield United are just so lucky to have him at the minute, because he's just the X factor that's driven us forward and really given us what we need.
That's where he improved for me last season. Still the same talent, still the same work rate, but more goals, more assists, more involvement in the team to make the 11 better.
When he first came in, he'd probably take 4 on and not quite have the end product, but now he can take 4 on and he can find the net as well.
Tactically, I think he's improved so much the last couple of seasons, but before, you know, he always had that raw ability, like literally where if he had a ball, you wouldn't really be able to tackle him, which was the essence of cage football.
It's great to have him in the squad. No fear at all. He's obviously going to go a long way.
I like him. Good player. I just picked that up and that because he is a good player. I like him. Yeah, good player. He's the one, isn't he?
I think one of the special moments that you see is when he was called up for the Senegal World Cup squad, and they had a really nice video of the squad all getting together and watching it be announced.
We were all obviously delighted for him. You know, he didn't know himself whether he made the squad or not. So it was probably a nerve-wracking moment for him.
I was waiting because he called up my name last, and I was thinking like, what's happening? And yeah, I got called up, and yeah, it was just an amazing feeling.
Fans wanted Iliman Ndiaye to join the national team.
2 years after playing for Ireland, he's playing in the World Cup. He just enjoys playing football, whether it's in Step 7 or at the World Cup. He just loves it.
I can't actually believe that he's going and achieving these things, and it's brilliant. All that hard work that I've seen him put in, it does near enough bring a tear to my eye.
There's no better feeling, to be honest. I've been part of a squad like that or in the World Cup. Yeah, it's just amazing.
There are 16 million of head coaches in the country when Senegal is playing.
I think it was against Qatar where he came off the bench and set up a goal just fantastically. And you thought, oh, this is somebody who is right at that level. He's not stood behind Sadio Mane or stood behind any of the other players, letting them take the glory. He's part of that group and he belongs there. And that's what's so fantastic to see.
I felt this confidence of someone who has already 20, 30 caps with the national team.
In the centre, Jefferson will find Ndiaye! Yes! And of course, Iliman Ndiaye will find the back of the net. The Senegalese star boy rips his shirt from his back. What a wonderful season that young man has had.
I think there's no stopping him.
He's shown that, you know, no matter what level you're at, if you've got the ability and the mentality, you can get through to where you want to be.
I don't think a lot of people bet on him, but he still trusted his talent.
I think I got quite a few targets. Obviously, like I want to be the best player in the world. I want to win trophies with club and countries. Yeah, that's my main, you know, Ballon d'Or, you know, so.
Is that something you think about a lot, Ballon d'Or, being the best player in the world?
Yeah, think about that a lot, yeah. That's the main target, to be fair, the main one.
You look at those players at the very top of the game, you look at your Haalands, your Mbappes, but I think if he makes the right career moves, it's a chance for him.
There may come times when players outgrow football clubs, just like we do the other way, you know, that's the nature of the thing that we're in.
He wants to play in the Champions League. He's done his national team. He wants to play in the Champions League, he wants to play in the Premier League.
It's because I love football and I love giving my all, so I always thought one day, hopefully I'll get there.